All right, thank you all for joining. This is a TAM Lab 122. In this video today, we're going to be upgrading my home lab from 5.11 to 5.2. And in this case, it's also a clean install of 5.11. I just prefer to do that because of my home lab. I like to break things and then redeploy. I didn't want to try to upgrade any broken issues that I've carried over. So in this video, I'm not showing how to do the reinstall or the fresh setup of 5.11. I'm just using William Lam's um, PowerShell deployment. Um, I will say the first couple times I did it, I ran into some issues. Um, as some others have come to me, DNS was the biggest problem I had was that I forgot about the reverse lookup zones. I had to go clean all that up, as well as a forward lookup zone. So in this case, we're just doing 5.1. Everything's deployed. Now we're going to do the upgrade. So let me stop SharePoint here. This is also a video because how long it takes. I cut everything down. It took me about 2 or 3 days in between times that I could do the upgrade and start the process. But I've cut it down to basically 30 minutes. We'll probably still speed up a little bit even through this session. But I apologize. It is a video, but we will talk through it and everything. So let me just get that started. So in this case, we're starting off with connecting to the SDDC Manager. Um, Default, you connect to the vCenter first, right? It passes your authentication through there. This is the SDDC Manager that is in 5.11. I'll show you some changes just briefly. There's one little change that'll pop out. Let me just pause this real quick. So for us internally, um, as you can see, I kind of blocked it out. Us internally, Broadcom employees, if we use our .NET address, not our .com, you will have access. Customers will use their what we used to call Customer Connect. Now it's the Broadcom username and the email address that they use there. So that's just what you need to use when you connect to the online depot. Okay, kind of just highlighting that, um, I did test it. Everything worked as we walked through this video. As long as I use the right uh, contact information, the connect username, basically. I don't know if future versions are going to change that wording. I bet they will. Okay. As you can see, I am connected online, so it already downloaded the information that's available. It didn't download the files I need yet, but 5.2 is available. I have no workload domains in 5.2. You can see in 5.11, I still have two workload domains, which is the management domain and the um, VI workload domain. Um, just showing you here what the release notes is really nice that you get that in the SDDC Manager right off the little kind of widget pane there. You also get the bill of materials that tells you what versions of each product is going to be in this 5.2. So some of the new features that what I'd like to do is that async patching. That's the last video I did was how to use the async patching in an offline mode. I'd like to kind of show how it works in 5.2, so that might be a future video. Okay. The first thing we need to do in a VCF environment, the SDDC Manager is always going to be the first thing you patch or upgrade. Um, think of it as in the old environment, you had your vCenter, you patched it or upgraded it first, and then you did your ESX hosts or NSX, and then the ESXi host. That's just the way it is. SDDC Manager is now one higher level up from vCenter, so it needs to be the latest version first. And luckily, the SDDC Manager handles all this for you. As we're walking through it, I did the last time I did a video, I didn't do a plan upgrade, just kind of showing what that looks like. Basically, you choose what version you want to go to. So if you're two back and you want to go one forward, you can do that. In this case, I'm just one back and I want to go to the newest one. Yes, SC Manager is backwards compatible to it. I mean, as far as I can tell, all the way back. I don't know how far back though. You might have to look at the matrix, the upgrade matrix to determine that, or interoperability matrix. But you can have, let's say, 5.1 vCenter and host and 5.2 SDDC Manager. Uh, I'll just keep talking. Some of these questions are coming up. In this case, right now, you can see I have an update um, for the SDDC Manager. You'll see like a little dot or anything on the updates, but if there's actually an upgrade, you'll see like a one or a two, or depending on how many updates are in there. So the first thing you need to do is download it. And as you can see, it sometimes you'll see me switch from one tab to another tab to come back because it doesn't seem like it automatically refreshes. I don't know if that's just my lab. It could be. I am running this all nested hosts. Um, I cut away, it downloaded. Now I can actually update. You can schedule downloads, you can schedule updates. So let's say if you don't want to do it all right away, you can schedule all this. I'm choosing just to do it now in this sense. So now I'm just waiting. I hit update now. I'm waiting for it to kick off the SDDC Manager. Once you click update now, you really don't have to touch anything. In this video, I did have to go into the NSX and try to do some stuff. I think that was related to my home lab. Um, so in here, now the SDDC Manager has been updated. That SDDC Manager tab is new, obviously, because it tells you it's new. So that's how I knew that the 5.2 had finished upgrading. The screens will actually, like since it's all web-based, the screen actually came up and did that lovely VMware, this page is upgrading, and it kind of goes through the steps until one point that when it reboots, you lose access, the page goes away. Pages, everything is upgraded, refresh, and this is where I'm at when I refreshed. Okay. All right. So as you can see, I only have one workload management domain now. I did rebuild this. So I just, for the sake of this video, I removed the VI workload domain just to show how to do it, or how to do the management domain. The same thing would apply for the VI workload. You do management domain first, then any workload domains underneath that you can do. The next step is the NSX data center. Uh, this one took a little more time, a lot longer in my case, just because of my lab. One thing I want to bring up, I need to product managing the time. It says validation started 12/31/69. I am not in the future. I'm not in the past. I don't know why the date and time is always messed up when it does that validation. So please just ignore that. Now I've downloaded the NSX update that needs to be done. I am going through the process of updating that process. It will actually do the NSX managers. For those of us that are doing this nested and using William Lam's, I think even the holodeck, I have to confirm. Um, there's only one NSX manager when you're doing it this way. Production, you'll have three NSX managers and you'll have a VIP that will be overall. So for customers that are going through this process, it may take a little bit longer because it has to go through and update each manager. At no point, though, did I lose access to VMs. VMs didn't lose access to anything else. They were still running. Showing the update. Again, I'll probably go back and forth. If you do view details, it tells you, in this case, the resource that are changing. The coordinator, the upgrade coordinator is also being upgraded so that it can update everything else. The VIBs, on the hosts have to be upgraded. So that's one of the reasons I um, had to go back into NSX managers myself, is that I didn't have enough resource for vCenter to vMotion to one host to another. So it just kind of broke things. So I had to manually intervene and shut down vCenter, move it to the host, turn it back on, and start the process again. Hopefully for users in production, they have enough resources, they're not having to do any of that. So that's why I cut that out. Um, so while this is going through the process, is the upgrade process for VVF similar to this? Well, VVF does not have the SDDC Manager, right? VVF is just vCenter, ESX, and vSAN components. So the upgrade process would be vCenter, ESX, and the vSAN is in the kernel, so that would also get patched or need some change or upgrades to the file format, depending on how far back they are. So that's a little bit different in this case. VCF does have SDDC Manager. The update order, so SDDC Manager first. In this case, NSX was second. I don't know if that is always going to be the case, because there's sometimes that the vCenter could be patched and NSX doesn't need to be, but it depends on the order of the version. So let's say this is going to 4.2. If vCenter 8 update 2B is what the 5.1.1 is. If it doesn't support 4.2 for NSX, then NSX needs to be upgraded first. I don't know if that's always the case. I'll have to go back and verify my past upgrade. But in this video's case, SDDC Manager, NSX Manager, vCenter, ESX hosts. And here it says one management cluster. That's also just the one NSX manager. What I like about the SDDC Manager is it tells you everything that you're doing. You view details or view update activity. It'll tell you what has been done, and you can kind of watch it if you want to. You could also, and I think in the video I'll do this later on, at least in the vCenter case maybe, it's doing the same process. So like here, I switched over to the NSX Manager just to see what it was doing. It has since rebooted. It finished the upgrade. It's rebooted. You could actually log into the NSX Manager management and click on System and then Upgrade, and you can see the exact process it's doing as well. So for those of us that have done all this without the SDDC Manager, it's doing the same process in the background. It's just the SDDC Manager is doing that for you from one little management pane kind of thing. I already cut this a little bit shorter. Maybe I did. Okay, good. So now the NSX Manager is up. I was hoping it was finished, but there's a little thing called post upgrade check. So it goes through and make sure everything is good. I think that'll refresh here in a second, or reload the page, whatever you want to do. I'm going to view the status and see what it's doing. As you can tell, I am getting a little antsy. I'm like, why is it not finished yet? It booted up. This is the NSX Manager pane, or if you log straight into it, as you can see, it is doing some finishing steps inside there. In this video, I am not doing anything with ARIA. ARIA would be a last step, obviously, for its processes. There would be the ARIA lifecycle manager. There would be, automation, operations, log insight. Each one of them has its own process. but those would always be last. Here it goes. The NSX manager finally told me that it was done, but I went back into the SD manager and it's telling me it's doing the post check still. So just kind of showing you how you can verify what's going on. If you think the SD manager is locked up, you can log into whichever appliance or process is being upgraded and just kind of view it just like you normally would without the SDDC manager. So according to NSX manager, it's up on the latest version. You can see right there 4.2 and that build number. SDDC manager is still doing its last post check to make sure, and then boom, it's done. Took me 49 minutes there, basically almost an hour to upgrade NSX, a single controller in my home lab. For those that don't remember, my home lab is just a single Dell 7920, running all this on it. This is all nested hosts. So here's the process. SDDC Manager, NSX Manager, vCenter next. Again, the next step is not popping up, so I'm kind of going back and forth. You will see that there is a available configuration update that's not related to this upgrade, or that's some drift changes or whatever. I'm not needing to do those right now. I was waiting for this to come up. So now it's going to download the vCenter 8 update 3. And then I'll cut away because that is a fairly large download. That's 19 gigs, as you can tell, um, in the description. Again, refresh the page. You'll see the download bar come up. It has to validate the download, and large bundles may take over 30 minutes to validate. That was true in this case. So while we're waiting on that, customers do not have to do all this in one day. That was always the big issue, was customers were afraid that they weren't being supported, or anything like that. They definitely could do the SDDC Manager one day, follow up with NSX Manager the next day or next week. They can do their own change control windows. What I just showed you is the vCenter is at 8.0 update 2. It should be 2B based on the build number. Now it's validated. Took about 30, 40 minutes later. I can now update the vCenter. You're doing the same steps. Download, update, download, update. And this, just to make sure I cover the bases here. This is only assuming that your SDDC manager has access to either a proxy server to go out to the domain or out to the internet, or it has direct access out to the internet. Does not need direct access in for internet. Please do not do that. What I was hoping it would do is it would refresh that window on the side and show you that it was doing the install. It never refreshed that window while I walked away. So I'm going to cut away here in a second, but it's going to update from 8.2 to 8.3. I'm refreshing the window on the right. This probably took over an hour. It said right there, an hour and 36 minutes to update the vCenter. So now I'm just logging back into the vCenter. I totally typed the wrong username. And just just to let you guys know, what I did is I started this process for the vCenter and then went to a friend's house and watched a movie and didn't have to do anything myself once I hit the process to update now. All I did was come back and just refresh the vCenter, the VAMI page, just so I can verify that it's telling me the truth, that it did update to 8.03. So Our customers could do the same thing if they wanted to. Update the vCenter, go watch a movie or whatever they want to do, come back, and it should be done without any intervention from the customer. 3 of the 4 steps are done. And the last thing is the ESX. ESXi. Sorry, I always drop the I. So going back to my statement, if your SDC manager does not have access to a proxy server or the internet, the process to do the all these updates, you would have to use the offline utility, not the async utility. That's just if you need a patch, let's say like the vCenter, instead of doing everything, you want that new update of 3A, you could use the async to update the vCenter. But if you're going to do the whole bill of materials, the SDDC Manager, NSX Manager, vCenter, and ESXi update, you'll use the offline bundle utility to download that. And that would be almost the same. If you watch the last video, we did the async and an offline mode. That would be assuming nothing had internet access except for my laptop. You would download that bundle utility onto a laptop or computer that does have access to a proxy server or internet. You would download all the bundles for each component. And then you would have to upload that to the SDDC Manager, and it would then go through this process that we're doing now. That might be something I can do in a future video, but it gets easier with the newer versions. With 5.2, you no longer have to use the async patching tool like I did last time. Maybe if it's offline, I'll have to verify it. But the async patch is now in a GUI inside the SDDC Manager, so you don't have to do all command line like I did last time. So maybe I definitely will do a future video with that. I will try to do the bundle utility as well. So let me go ahead here. So it's basically saying, it's going to use the vSphere Lifecycle Manager. I just want to do some compatibility checks. I did run into an issue that I think all nested hosts or anybody that's used it, like the William Lam's nested hosts, and we'll get to that. I'll show you in a second. But here I needed to update the cluster image inside of Lifecycle Manager. I'm just kind of showing you. I'm logging into the vCenter appliance. I actually didn't need to do this. I'm just kind of going through the process. And I cannot type my passwords at all. Oh, that's one thing I should have called out. It was not in the release notes that I saw within SDC Manager, but there's password requirement changes from 5.1 to 5.2 or 5.1.1 to 5.2. The NSX Manager password had to be like 15 characters, but everything else didn't. Now I think the SDC Manager password is 15 characters. So when I publish this on YouTube, I'll put that in the description or a link in the description talking about that. So here's what I'm going with the cluster image. You need to kind of extract it and choose it. This is how you would manually do it within the vCenter. Sorry, I needed a cough there, so I just muted. So I'm extracting that. Again, there's 2 different ways you could do this. I just chose the easy option one here. Kind of cut away just to see if it was finished yet. It hadn't. Okay, finally, export it. I'm going back in the SDDC Manager. I want to finish this process, which is the last thing is update the ESXi host. If you have multiple clusters, you could go back one step and say, I only want to update this one cluster first. All right. So now it's kind of, let me pause that and we go back. It's kind of doesn't really, this is one thing I'd probably bring up is I selected the image, the one that I exported, but it didn't actually reflect to me that I did anything except for the next button came up. Right. So I selected it and I'm like, okay, did anything pop up? It did. Um, Here's something new, right? With update 3, live patch. So live patch is one of the new technologies that we have where the hosts do not have to do a reboot on certain patches, not all upgrades, all that. But you have the option going forward now with SDDC Manager if the patch or upgrade applies. Um, I will select it here and it'll actually throw an error at me, and you will see why. You cannot do quick boot and live patch at the same time, just only one. Here's my error message. ESXi needs to be relicensed after the upgrade and vCenter compliance assigned to whatever. I try to finish. I think it throws the other error at me, right? Scheduling immediate upgrade of bundle failed. Live patch is unsupported on ESXi cluster versions below 8.0 update 3. Makes sense. I'm on 8.0 update 2B. I can't do live patch yet. So I have to go back. I have to uncheck live patch, and then I can check quick boot if I wanted to use it. The error message should go away. Again, I'm just highlighting. That's why I could not do it. So this went fairly quick. I have some error messages from before, or told me an error like it didn't support the live patching or whatever. Um, but the ESXi patching went fairly quick. Oh, this is the error message I was kind of talking about a little bit. The PVSCSI is not supported. Um, for those of us internally, I will show a little file here. If you want to hit me up, I can get it to you. For customers externally that are doing this with a test lab or whatever, reach out via the YouTube link or whatever. I will see if I can get that to you. But it's this right here, this last one, the PVSCSI controller is not compatible. Um, and it was initially that was red. It wouldn't let me finish the upgrade. I had to go import that into the Lifecycle Manager. Actually, I'm showing you right here. I had to go into the monitor of the cluster, Skyline Health, and then you search for vSAN HCL, and you look for DB up to date. And here you can update from file or get the latest version online. The latest version does not include this patch or this kind of workaround, I should say. It's not really a patch, but you can see I'm looking for that JSON file. It's 2 up. Joey, there you go. And all this JSON file does just tells it that, hey, it's okay. It basically gets around the warning. I think I kind of show the file here in a second, but I don't want to just give it out there. But yeah, basically it's just telling it, hey, that's a supported release. But read carefully before installing. This is just for lab purposes only. So now I'll do another pre-check. It's going to give me the exact same messages I got, but I just ran it again. It's checking every host in that cluster, and if you expand it, it actually tells you which hosts fail or do not meet each criteria. Uh, so I got two warnings and then one warning, but warnings I can still proceed. So yeah. So now I can just schedule the update. The button looks a little different. That's why it kind of threw me off here. I want to scroll back up here in a second. Schedule update or cancel the update. Since it threw an error or a warning, it goes like this. If it had not, I think it would have stayed the same on the right side with schedule update or update now. So I'm told it's upgrade now. The screen should refresh here in a second again, and I can see the process. Here, I'm just verifying that the host's finished or what version they're on. See what I'm doing while I'm sitting there. Might be waiting for something to kick in. Okay, there it goes. Checking compliance with user cluster image. I'm going to refresh this page, go back and forth. I can view status. So you can see it's in process. It's doing it's already finished all the pre-checks, disabling DRS rules, remediate, enable DRS rules, post-check success. So there's a little more steps that happen in the background. So now you can see it's remediating the cluster. So far, the only intervention I had to do was because I threw those errors. As long as customers hosts meet the HCL or everything, they should not have any of these issues that I initially had. Again, this is all nested ESXi, nested vCenter, nested SDDC Manager. Um, yeah, and it was just finished. I actually did not cut away it unless it had finished beforehand. Go back to SDDC Manager and just verify that it did. So it only took 3 minutes. So take that as you will. All right. As you can see, I cannot do a plan upgrade anymore because I'm on the latest one, but I could do a plan patching. I didn't actually verify what that was. I clicked it. There is no patching yet, right? Um, the question that came up was vendor add-ons. You would have to import that into the lifecycle manager, the vSphere lifecycle manager, and then you would export that image out so that SDDC Manager could take those add-ons. I did not cover that in the video. I apologize. Here I just verified that all 4 hosts are on 8 update 3. I do have that ESXi, the advanced options for host drift that I can apply. I will apply that later. I'm just not, that's just a little update in here. That's not part of the uh, 5.2 upgrade. So there you go. That was basically upgrading the VCF um, from 5.11 to 5.2. Fairly simple process as long as everything meets the HCL. We will harp on that as much as we can because it also makes your life a lot easier. Okay, let me stop the video. Thank you guys for joining.